Welcome to episode 68 of Norse Myths, Legends, and Folktales. My name is MyLinda, Butterworth, and today we learn the fate of King Atle and what became of Gudrun in part 2 of Gudrun's Vengeance. When they had voyaged over the sea, there were dumb foretellings of their doom. So swiftly and hard did the oarsmen ply their blades that rowing pins snapped and half the ship's keel was shorn off upon the beach. They leapt ashore and feared not. Gunnar and Hogne went inland towards Atle's stronghold with armor and full war gear and all their men. 2 sons of Hogne were there with them, and glorious Orkning, the brother of Kostbara, who had fame for mighty deeds. They rode together through a dark wood, and when they approached the stronghold of Atle, they perceived that the gate was closed against them. A great army was assembling to receive the guest. Hogne raised his battleaxe and smote the gate asunder, for he must needs enter with dignity becoming his rank. "Thou hast done wrong," Vengenace snarled. "'Twere more fitting that thou shouldest wait until I bring the gallows on which ye shall all hang. By smooth words have I induced ye all to come hither, ere long shall ye die together." "Thy boasts affright me not," answered Hogne. "We shrink not from conflict. If conflict there must be, yet hast thou wrought us ill, so take thy reward." As he spoke, Hogne swung his battleaxe and slew Vengenace with a single blow. Boldly rode the sons of Gioki until they came to the hall of Atle. There was a strong army drawn up in a line of battle. King Atle came forth and spake to the brothers. "I bid ye welcome," he said. "But unto me must be now given up the great treasure which Sigurd won when he slew Fafnir, and is now mine by right of Gudrun." So fell the treasure curse upon them all in that hour of doom. Gunnar spake. "Thou shalt never possess our riches," he said, "and if thou dost battle against us, we shall make of thee thy kin a feast for the eagle and the wolf." "Long have I desired," said Atle, "to punish ye for the slaying of Sigurd. That indeed was a shameful thing to do, for his eagle was found not among men." Hogne spoke boldly. "Long hast thou brooded over that matter. A wonder it is that thou didst not sooner set thyself to the task." Then began the battle, and against one another they cast their spears. Tidings were borne unto Gudrun of hard fighting, and she hastened forth in great anger. She cast from her the royal robe, and rushing into the midst of the fray, embraced her brothers and kissed them. But in vain did she intervene. The time for peace was past. So she armed herself and fought beside Gunnar and Hogne against the war men of Atle. Bravely fought the brothers. The king's 3 brothers were slain, and Atle cried, "Now am I the last of my kin, and by thee was Brynhild slain." "Thou shalt have thy faring in time," answered Hogne. "The gods have decreed thy punishment." Fierce grew the conflict, for Atle rallied his warmen and urged them to battle. But he was driven back into his hall, which soon streamed with blood. Good were the deeds of the glorious Giokings, but at length Gunnar and Hogne were pressed hard and overpowered. Then were they bound in fetters. Atle was wroth when he perceived that so many of his war men were cut down, and he scowled upon Hogne. "He hath cut down a host of my heroes," he said. "So let his heart be cut out." "Do thy will," answered Hogne, "for I fear not. So grievously am I wounded that I may as well die." But the king delayed taking vengeance. He desired first to know where Fafnir's treasure was concealed, so he had the brothers cast into separate dungeons. Gunnar was brought before him. "Thy life shall be spared," Atle said, "if thou wilt reveal where the treasure lies hidden." Gunnar answered him. "Ere I speak," he said, "Hogne's heart must be brought unto me." Then did Atle seek to practice deceit with much cunning. He had a thrall seized so that his heart might be held up before Gunnar. The man screamed with anguish ere yet the knife touched him, for he desired not to miss constant fair and good, nor leave the well-loved swine. The coward heart was cut out, and it trembled before Gunnar. "That is not the valorous heart of my brother," he said, "but the heart of a thrall." So Hogne had to be slain. He laughed when his enemies fell upon him, and they marveled at his valor. Then was the hero's heart plucked forth, and when Gunnar saw it, he said, "That indeed is the heart of great Hogne. See how it still beats without fear. I wavered while my brother was yet alive, but now can I die well satisfied, Atle, for thou shalt never know where the treasure lies hid. Yet thou, O king, shalt escape not thy doom, and the Rhine river shall keep the secret of the gold." Atle was wroth. His brow darkened, and his eyes burned fire. "Take hence the prisoner," he growled. And as he bade his men to do so, Gunnar was bound and thrust into a loathsome dungeon which swarmed with vipers. But Gudrun sent him a harp, and he played upon it with his toes, making such sweet music that all the vipers were charmed into a magic sleep, save one, which gnawed his breast until it reached his heart to suck his life's blood. Great torture did Gunnar suffer ere he died. Men have told that the viper which killed the hero was the mother of Atle, who was a sorceress. The king boasted before Gudrun because that he had triumphed over her brothers. "Gunnar and Hogne are indeed no more," the queen said, "and unto me is given a heritage of vengeance." Atle liked not her speech, so he said, "Let peace be made between us. Thee shall I give much treasure as atonement for the loss of thy kin." Gudrun would accept naught of blood payment, but she desired that a funeral feast be held for Gunnar and Hogne. The king gave ready consent, and then was the dread work of vengeance begun. Gudrun slew her 2 sons. Of their skulls she made drinking cups, and she had their hearts cooked in honey for the king. In his wine she mixed their blood. When the feast was over, Atle desired that his son should be brought to him. "Thou hast given me dark sorrow," Gudrun said. "By slaying my brothers, now hast thou thy reward. Thou didst eat the hearts of thy son, and their blood hast thou drunken in thy wine from these their skull-caps." "Vengeful woman," cried Atle, "a great cruelty thou hast done by slaying thine own children." "There shall be still greater cruelty yet," she answered him. "Thou shalt be burned alive for this," Atle cried fiercely. "Thine own death thou dost foretell," she said, "as well as mine." Now, a son of Hogne was left alive. He was a Nibling. With him did Gudrun conspire. When Atle had drunken deep and slumbered, his wife went with Hogne's son to his bedchamber, and she thrust a sword through him. Atle woke up and cried, "Who hath given me my death wound?" Gudrun made herself known, and said she had taken vengeance for her kin. Atle pleaded that he would have stately burial, and the queen promised him a great pyre. When he died, she set fire to the hall, and all that were within it were burned. In the darkness, the war men sprang one upon the other, and many fell fighting ere the end came. Gudrun made escape, but she desired not to live any more. She hastened towards the shore and cast herself into the waves so that her days might have end. There are those who tell that she died thus, but others say that the waves bore her over the sea and cast her upon the beach nigh to the stronghold of King Yonuka. A strong warrior was he. When he saw the queen's beauty, he desired to have her for bride, and when she was nourished and comforted, the twain were married, and they dwelt happily together. Gudrun had 3 sons, and they were named Hamder, Sorla, and Erp. It is told that when they became full warriors, she sent them forth against King Jormunkrek to avenge the death of Svanhild. But Erp, it was deemed, was unwilling to go forth, so his brother slew him. Then Hamder and Sorla set forth. Their mother charmed their bodies against steel, and when they reached Jormunrek, Hamder cut off his hands, and Sorla smote off his feet. If Erp was here, one said to the other, he would have taken the king's head. Many strong and well-skilled warriors fought against the sons of Gudrun, but without avail, for they could not wound them. Then in the midst of the fray appeared a wise old man who had but one eye. He was Odin, but they knew it not. He counseled that the warriors should cast stones against the twain, who were protected by spells. As he advised, so was it done. Many stones were flung at Hamder and Sorla, and they were speedily slain. So ended the northern tale of the Volsungs and the Giokings. And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales, many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey.